We are now joined by Deutsche Welle's Director General, Mr. Peter Limbourg. First of all, congratulations on hosting such an amazing event. Bringing journalists from around the world and creating an atmosphere for us to exchange our ideas and discuss the issues that pretty much affect everyone around the globe, right? But other than that, I mean, one of my understanding in the last 3 days is that media in Germany is pretty thriving compared to where we come from, India. What do you have to say about that?
Well, the media landscape in Germany is very diverse, and it has in TV a clear separation between public stations, which are very strong. They have a bit more than 50% of the market share, and they get a lot of money from fees. And the private sector is also quite strong because we have a strong economy, and so you have a lot of commercial money you can earn here. So, and a lot of new platforms, digitalization is working, and you have hundreds of newspapers, but they're in print as everywhere in the world. There are difficulties because the older people tend to use newspapers and the younger are in the internet and social media. So they have their problems, and so we will see a couple of newspapers probably going off the market, but then we see another platforms rising. So journalism is quite strong in Germany, and I think we are in a quite lucky position if we compare it to other parts of the world.
Yes, I mean, you rightly said other parts of the world. We come from India, and the public service broadcaster is often deemed as the propaganda machinery by the ruling party. How much of an interference from the government you face here as a Director General of such a big public service broadcaster?
Well, we have really politicians who respect our independence.
They do, right?
They absolutely do. I can assure you, when I started, I came from private TV, I thought maybe there are some interferences, but none. I don't have anybody who's trying to push me in one direction or tells me what to broadcast. So obviously we are in discussions with the government or the parliament who is giving us the money, where we should maybe go more, which languages we probably should use, or whether we change a bit the strategy. But these are normal things which you do to the people that gave you the money. So, but the content is really sacred, and this is our big advantage here in Deutsche Welle, that we are independent media outlet.
But there is a debate going on that Germany, despite having such a big public service broadcaster, guaranteeing the independence of it, yet it's the same country that is debating whether there should be sort of taking punitive actions against social media platforms who don't take down the post like in a timeliness manner.
Well, but this is in a democracy the normal thing. I mean, there are politicians who like to control these platforms more and force them to erode content which is against German law. It's not the question whether it's content which you don't like or you others don't like. It must be against a law in Germany.
It doesn't violate the law.
It must violate the law, and then the platforms should be forced to get the content out, which is something from the principle which one can really appreciate. The question is how you do it in practice, and there we have a debate. I mean, this law which is now in the discussion, I don't see it coming in the next month. It's in a discussion, and I don't think before the elections in Germany there will be a decision. But it's a normal democratic process. I mean, you can find it this way, but believe me, freedom of speech and opinion will be held up in Germany, and this is good news.
So things are very rosy for journalists here now, but it wasn't there all the time. I mean, we're talking about the Nazi era, where the press were banned, the propaganda machinery for Hitler ruled the roost. The reason why I'm discussing this, because in India often, because we are going through a turbulent time, they're drawing the parallel. How things were during the Hitler time. What's your recollection of that?
Well, it's a long time ago, and I was born definitely years after these dark times in Germany. Yes, we had a media landscape which was controlled by the state 100%. There was absolutely no free press, zero. So, and we learned from this, but I'm 100% sure that you can't compare the situation in Germany during the period from 33 to 45 with any country now in the world, especially not India. I mean, when you say you have, in India, you have a lot of private entrepreneurs and media companies. So I think you always have there, whatever you think of one station, you have a diversity of stations. So I think this is not comparable.
So what would your message be, my last question, to those who are, sort of compromising media's independence, whether they are owners or the politicians or the business houses who own media in India? What would be your message to them?
Well, to all media companies in India, I would send out the message that it's good to cooperate with Deutsche Welle and to take also our content. But on the other hand, I'm not the one who should advise how they run their companies, but especially you see that the results for the media outlets are normally quite good when the user or viewer has the impression that there is independence. And as you see, for example, what happened to the Washington Post, a very rich man came and bought it, and he is definitely not interfering into what they're doing, the journalists. I think it's a good model. It should be there everywhere in the world, knowing that this is a bit still on a hope schedule, but I think we can hope the best. All the best for you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.